Welcome to our Lunchtime Live program on WJEJ. It's a monthly partnership with Washington County Public Schools. Today's show is sponsored by Hagerstown Honda and Kia, who jump in on the Teacher of the Year program we do each year after we've determined and announced who the Teacher of the Year is for this upcoming year. That is Josh Edwards from Clear Spring High School, who was announced at the annual dinner. Joining us on the show also today, Joni Burkhart, Coordinator of Professional Development and Teacher Principal Evaluation. Joni's a big part of determining how teachers are doing, working with them to make sure they reach Teacher of the Year status at some point. She hasn't done a lot of work with Josh because he's okay. He's been okay at what he's done.
Josh is more than okay.
Yeah, he's pretty fine.
I'm okay. I like it.
Congratulations to you. Teacher of the Year is quite an honor. Obviously.
Yes, thank you very much.
But you're also, now you're out of bridesmaid status.
Okay.
Because you've been.
It's official.
You've been nominated before, which is a nice, it's not as if you're a one-year flash in this.
Yes.
All of a sudden now it's the whole thing makes sense. You've built to the point of actually becoming Teacher of the Year.
Yeah, this is the third year that I was named a finalist for the Teacher of the Year for Washington County Public Schools.
How's it feel?
It's been surreal. I love it when people in the hallway they'll start making these motions to me. They knock it off. I'm the same Josh. But it's been incredible. It's been incredible. I've been able to I've had many conversations already with people all across the county, people in the past that I've worked with at previous schools and other positions I've had at the elementary level, which has just been amazing to reconnect with those people again.
What do you think you do well?
What do I think I do well? Joni, no, I'm just teasing. No, I'm not going to.
I do know what he does well.
I
can tell you something.
Save that for just a second here. Self-evaluate right
Self-evaluate. I think I am a good motivator, and I think I'm good at trying to inspire students to achieve their best, hopefully at anything they do, but primarily in the visual arts department.
For the folks who don't know, visual arts is your cup of tea as it goes academically. So it's a little different. There's a little different feel to that than the Teacher of the Year, teaching math on the day-to-day or anything else. And so, how did you get to this point? How does one develop into an art teacher in just really simple terms?
Develop into an art teacher. So my story is a little bit different. I started out as an engineering major in college, and after spending a year doing that, and it was not I did not have a negative experience with that. I just was concerned about what was I going to do in my day to day. What was my day to day life going to be? What was my family's life going to be that I did not have at the time? But I was already future casting for that, as many I think young people do, and that's when I made the jump. I made a jump from the engineering department at Evansdale campus to the Creative Arts Center at West Virginia University. And actually, I went back for a campus visit, and the secretary there actually still remembers the day that I came over because she said, "What is your current major?" And I told her industrial engineering. So that kind of stuck with her. I don't think she gets a whole lot of that in the office. But I started out in graphic design and photography. And because I had already spent a year in the college at West Virginia University, I needed to pick up some other credits, so to be full-time. Anyone who's changed their major out there knows exactly what I'm talking about for financial aid. Right. And so I started studying art history, and I also picked up my K-12 certification. And once I was at the end of my sophomore year in that program and a junior in that program, and I started working with students, not just college students, but students, I realized this is what I was meant to do. And I was hired at Washington County Public Schools to teach elementary school for the first 4 years at Bester. I made the jump, made a transition to Rockland Woods Elementary School when that opened up. And I moved to the Clear Spring community. And after less than a year of being there, a position became available at Clear Spring High School. And that's where I'm currently teaching at.
Joni, is that late? Because you hear the stories of the freshmen in high school. Yeah, I want to teach. Yeah, I want to do art, or whatever it is. That's midstream in college. which is not unusual, but as far as taking that jump from one thing to the other, I mean, does that feels late to me, where all of a sudden the realization that, yeah, okay, I want to teach.
Right. I think sometimes you meet teachers and they have been teaching all of their lives. Since a very small child, they have said, this is what I want to do. I think it's really inspirational that Josh brings this, and that the children, and it's through his work with the children that he realized, this is what I need to do, this is my calling. And that's what makes him such an exceptional teacher.
Well, beyond that, let's do the full review from your corner.
Okay.
How is it that this guy is the teacher of the year?
Well, I can tell you from just being in Josh's class, what I appreciate most about Josh is this. When you walk into his class, there is such a feeling of authenticity, of the children doing the work. And art is one of those subjects where a lot of people think that, to become an artist is a calling. You must have this natural gift. And there are people who have this wonderful natural gift. And what Josh is able to do with them is to accelerate them, take them to the next level. And what I really, really appreciate, though, is me not being from an art background, even children like me, children who have not been exposed to art, feel that with Josh that they can be creative, that they can be successful, and they can accelerate their practices at art and appreciation of art. So I think Josh does that beautifully with all students. Everyone feels successful, everyone feels accepted, everybody is creative.
How's that possible? How is that possible that you bring everybody along for the ride in your classes?
Well, I think that's what I'm hired to do. I'm hired to reach every child, not just the few who may come in. Because I have some students that come in and I'm like, oh my goodness, they are exceptional. And, some of the kids, they come in with just this natural ability to draw or to paint or to sculpt, or they just already have that eye of a photographer. And my job is more of like a coach and giving them new ideas, whereas some students, I have to teach them basic skills, and then we build from those basic skills to the level I think that they're able to obtain by the end of our courses.
What value are you providing them? When they take your courses, one of them, and we talked before the show about a girl who took every single one of your courses in high school and is off to a great start in college. What are you hoping to send them out the door? What set of skills, what knowledge, what preparation have you done for them to set them up for success in the next year, the next 5, the next 10?
Sure. Besides just the skills that they have for projects or for, maybe they're going to go, like I've had some students who've started their own photography businesses, doing senior portraits or weddings, those kinds of things. But arts, not in my opinion, I know arts education teach something that is very unique. They teach students how to critically think, and that when you have a problem, that there may be more than one solution. Actually, I think that there is more than one solution. And they're able to look at those things, and they're able to analyze and self-evaluate. And we do that in the arts classroom with our specific projects, but hopefully they're able to carry that to other avenues. Like in athletics, for instance, you study film. Why do you study film? Because you want to get better. As artists, what are your practices? What are you doing? How are you doing? Okay, if that isn't working, well, let's try this. So I'm there almost as a coach to build them up, and every student is different, so there is not a one-size-fits-all recipe that I'm providing. So every student is going to be different, and I hopefully by the time they leave my class, they're able to gain those skills to critically assess themselves and critically assess things that are problems that they may incur or run into in life.
Today's show is sponsored by Hagerstown Honda and Kia, a big supporter of the Teacher of the Year program here in Washington County, and we appreciate their sponsorship of Lunchtime Live here on WJEJ. We're here the third Thursday each month with Washington County Public Schools. Josh Edwards from Clear Spring High School is our new Teacher of the Year. Joni Burkhart joins us as Coordinator of Professional Development and Teacher Principal Evaluation. You're not shooting to turn out every student in each one of your classes, especially as an artist. Not everybody's going to walk out the doors, oh my God, Mr. Edwards, he taught me to build this, to create this, to draw this. I assume not every child is going to be, if they're all successful, they don't necessarily all have to create something to be. Yes?
No, they do not all have to necessarily create something. I mean, I am a product-driven course, meaning that we're making projects, so they're all creating something.
Right.
But just this past semester, in the fall semester, I had a student who we were submitting artwork for a specific competition. This student is very involved in our ag department, our agricultural and science department, and actually, I think that's what he's going to do for his career. Mm-hmm. And we were talking about work and things that he could submit, and I was encouraging him to submit a specific photograph. And he was like, Mr. Edwards, I don't know. Right. You know, I go, come on, buddy, I'm telling you, I mean, this is a great photograph. It's composed well. And he goes, do you really think so? And I go, yeah. He won first place in the competition. And I remember seeing him in the hallway the next day. He goes, can you believe that? And I said, yeah. I go, yeah, I can believe it. You know, I was, that's what we were talking about. I can believe it. I mean, it was it was a well-composed photograph. And so, you know, he saw success in an avenue in his life that I don't think he ever would have seen success. And it was through the opportunity provided by him. I just happened to be a vehicle for that opportunity. It was his work. It was him submitting the image. I was just a vehicle to get him there. There
has to be a lot of added value for students when they're going through your courses, when they graduate, when they look back. There may not be a direct tie from what they did with you, but there may be all kinds of added value that they'll look back and say, you know what, Mr. Edwards did this for me, did this for me, did this for me. You know, here's what I now know, here's what I now understand. You know, here's now how I can think about this, this, and this, which may have nothing to do with art. There's a lot of magic in that.
Yeah, absolutely. In 2013, I was at Clear Spring High School, and I received a letter from a past student who was in fifth grade at the time. She wrote the letter from Rockland Woods. And I actually, at the Teacher of the Year event, it's how I ended my speech. I mean, it was her words. She wrote me during Teacher Appreciation Week and basically just expressed how much I meant to her and how much my class meant to her more so, and that she always felt that it was a safe and an inviting place. And that really stuck with me. I mean, I had it hanging, you know, in my office. I took it down to bring it to Fountainhead Country Club that evening, you know, and I put it back up. Because those are the things that as teachers that we really hang on to. Those are things that we treasure. I mean, it's wonderful to have students win in competitions, but to have a student in their own words, thank you, and know that we made a positive impact on their life. I mean, I have goosebumps right now just thinking about it.
Josh is not the only really, really good teacher. We had other finalists. We had more than 80 nominees. So there were a lot of folks across Washington County who thought many, many teachers were doing great work. Joni.
Yeah, absolutely. All of our teachers who were nominated were excellent candidates. We had 4 finalists besides Josh. We had Kimberly Grabenstein from Williamsport Elementary School. We had Sam Furioli from Boonesboro Middle School. We had Jen Babb from Jonathan Hager, and then Ashley Vasick from Boonesboro High School. So, I mean, just really great finalists and really great candidates. And we had great judges this year. They have to read 82 packets. It's a lot that we ask them to do. Great community partnerships and a great partnership with the chamber and all of the judges. So we're just appreciative of that. And any one of them could have been chosen, and they did a fantastic job. That is another thing I will say that we have the opportunity to do is go and watch these teachers teach. Mm-hmm. It's not just about writing a packet or something like that. We personally interview them, which Josh loved, right, Josh?
I love interviews.
And then also...
I do.
And then also going to...
That's fine. You're not going to... You may be perfectly sincere about that. That just doesn't feel like a positive to me.
So it's a little bit nerve-wracking. And then they endure 4 to 6 weeks of us coming in and out of their classrooms. Sure. And anything can happen during those times, and does. And that's the beauty of teaching and watching these wonderful teachers, and watching Josh especially handle situations, model independence in the classroom. His students know what to do, when to do it, and all are always becoming those very independent individuals that are going to be successful.
How much spontaneity is there? There's a lot of, there's a lot when we talk about the, curriculum and the academics and the structure and all of that. I mean, what's your classroom like in that thought?
Sorry, I'm like,
Tell them how many classes you teach.
okay, so this semester I have 19 classes, and then
Wait, how is that even possible? What do you mean? This semester, you're teaching 19 classes.
19
how does
separate-
that math doesn't even make sense?
it doesn't, and then I think last semester I had 17, so it's a lot of courses. I have students in during my planning time. I have multiple courses during one class.
Right.
And it's when I have those multiple courses, it's not like I'm ignoring other people. I've established relationships with these students, and they know what to do. I mean, when Joni said they know what they really do. I mean, I have to be there, motivate
Right.
them, just like anyone else. But it would not fit in their schedule otherwise. So they could not take a course unless I was like, yes, please come and be in this class. Yes, please come and be in this class. So it isn't about me wanting to take on this enormous workload. It's about just ensuring that our students at Clear Spring High School that want to be in my program or in my program at whatever cost. When you were asking about spontaneity, so I learned something today. And I'll share this with everyone listening and you guys here. Apparently, if you have a fog machine that's running underneath a saxophone player, that saxophone player cannot play because of the moisture content in his reed. Did you guys know that?
I wasn't aware of that.
Know that.
Okay,
That
so there we go. So we didn't know it either.
Lifelong learners.
Lifelong
Joni
learners.
Burkhart.
Yeah, there we go. How I discovered that is my advanced placement students, so my AP Studio Art students, we created a human video. It's a human video, kind of like a music video, but we were acting it out and we edited it and for a song that the Clear Spring High School band is going to be performing this evening at the high school. And we were going to have a fog machine. It's a Heart of Madness. It's a very dramatic song. The lights are out and we have this wonderful lighting, visual thing going on that's being projected. And we thought, oh, fog machine will be great. And it looked fantastic. But if the saxophone players can't play, we cannot have the fog machine.
Well, it's good to know it today.
It's good to know it today. But see,
Yeah.
talking about, I did not plan that. We found that out today. So
Well,
there's
it
a
just
lot
seems
of that.
I ask about spontaneity only in now knowing that you have, in a classroom, you have a dozen different kids in different courses. First of all, doing all kinds of different things. I don't know how you even sort all that out.
It's something that I've developed over the years of teaching. When I was at Rockland Woods, I started doing something because we had a rather large influx with our kindergarten classes. So I had a lot of kids, and I was like, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? I really want to do clay because that's what it says, that's what I want to do. And I started bringing in fifth graders who, during indoor recess, they would come in, they would be like my art helpers during the recess time for like 20 minutes. I'm like, man, this is really great having them here. And that's, this is kind of like the 2.0 version of that.
Yeah, okay.
I have some upper level kids because they assist occasionally. If something needs to be done, I really don't know how to open this up in Photoshop. Well, my upper level kids, they all know how to do that. So I'm not the only keeper of the information. My students feel empowered because they're able to share that information with other students in the classroom, their peers, to help them create whatever it is that they're working on during that time.
If you're just joining us, I'm talking with Josh Edwards from Clear Spring High School, visual arts teacher, but our Teacher of the Year, as announced recently at the annual gala. Joni Burkhart joins us as Coordinator of Professional Development and Teacher Principal Evaluation for Washington County Public Schools. Today's show sponsored by Hagerstown Honda and Kia, not only sponsoring the show, but one of the primary sponsors of the Teacher of the Year program here in Washington County. Would this work if we took your show on the road? Would it work outside of Clear Spring, Maryland? If you took your show anywhere, how would it play?
I think it would. Yeah, absolutely. This has been something that's been developed. So when I say I have 19 classes, it hasn't always been like that at Clear Spring High School. That's just something that I've developed over time, and that those numbers change.
Sure.
From year to year, from semester to semester. But I think if I was involved in it, it would probably look very similar to what it looks like now. I feel that I would be able to strive for student success wherever my geographic location would be.
The demographics of the kids and or the community wouldn't matter.
No, I don't believe so at all. I don't feel that. I think it's important that, I've said this another time already during, being the teacher of the year, but it's important that we don't stereotype kids.
Right.
It's important that we don't say, wow, they're from wherever, so they're not going to be successful. It was very interesting when I first started Clear Spring High School and some of the community events we would go to. People would say, wow, so much art. And from Clear Spring, and it's like they've had a question mark after it. And I'm thinking, yeah, we're from Clear Spring. That's where these kids go. Most like they had a misconception that we maybe couldn't produce art.
Sure.
And the students obviously can. I don't think it's necessarily because I am there. I just happen to be there now. But the students are able to create and be highly successful at it.
The Teacher of the Year can't cruise through the next year. There are plenty of commitments, time frames, time deadlines, all of that just keep coming. Yes?
Yes, that is very true. Josh is going to be jam-packed full with all kinds of events from the Maryland State Department of Education. And in fact, on May 21st, all Teacher of the Years will be recognized at the State Department. And we're all going down to celebrate with Josh. And then from there, he gets to do all kinds of fun activities like go to a Ravens game, represent there, travel throughout, and be a great ambassador. And we're hoping that he will be a finalist for the Maryland Teacher of the Year. I think he is truly the best. Like, if you were asking me, I would choose him.
And you have no bias whatsoever.
No, I don't.
No, I'm not.
Certainly a statewide perspective on all of the other Teachers of the Year. Actually, you pulled down a couple of things that as Teacher of the Year, you get the car, you get technology, right? You want to run down the list?
The biggest thing I get asked about is the Chick-fil-A, and I was kind of, I don't know if I'm allowed to even talk about it, but I will say
it's too late now. You've already.
Well, I'm just I just mean I'm not going to give any of the inner secrets, but I thought, am I going to get like one? They have the cow as a mascot. I don't know if I was going to get like a golden cow, like the show when I go through the drive-through. Hello, right. It's me. So it's been great. Actually, we went there I went and threw out the first pitch at the Suns game. Sure. That was a wonderful opportunity. Yeah. You emailed me about that. And then that evening we went and people were coming up and they, it was just in the paper that day. And, the guy was like, is that you? And I'm like, yeah. Exactly. And my wife, she really stole the show in that moment. You know what I mean? If you've ever met Kelly, I mean, Alexis Fitzpatrick totally did a wonderful job of capturing her essence. She's just like, mouth wide open looking at me. Yeah. And I go, yeah, and that's her right over there. It's here in the middle of the Chick-fil-A, but my kids are like, right. Like, Dad.
Right. The whole Teacher of the Year thing is already old for them.
Yeah, my son, he's in 4th grade. He's 10. And Dean goes, Daddy, why do people keep talking to you? And I said, I don't know, buddy. They know. Yeah. I've worked with them, and and they know me, so they're saying hello. So,
what about Washington County, the teaching force in general, Joni? How do we all reach as a teaching force the level of excellence and commitment that we're talking about here?
I think that a lot of Washington County teachers are there, and they are already doing what Josh is doing. Going through this process and being recognized is a part of that. And what I think Josh will do is, because he is such an excellent ambassador, he's such an excellent representation of what every teacher wants to be. He's a collaborator. He works well. I'm going to tell a story about Josh. I met Josh probably about 10 years ago, and I happened to be at a professional development opportunity. I was in your classroom. He happened
and then you asked me.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was in his classroom, just happened to be in his classroom. He's teaching elementary at the time. I see him do exactly what I want new teachers to be able to do. And I said to him, hey, Josh, are you available tomorrow? He's like, yes, I'm available tomorrow. I'm like, all right, great. Why don't you come in and do this entire series for me? And he did.
You just blindly agreed with her.
Sure.
Okay.
I wasn't quite sure.
You know better.
I didn't quite know who she was,
You know better now, obviously.
Yeah.
And it's part of that personality that Josh has, that ability to be so accessible by so many teachers, that ability to not be arrogant in his teaching styles, and really to make teaching what everybody wants to be, what all of the students need. He's approachable. So again, he being the teacher of the year, it's just an excellent representation for Washington County.
The tricky part is that not everybody has this personality. Not everybody has this level of, humility, collaboration, all of those things. This is getting a little close to embarrassing, but I'm going to keep going.
Okay.
I don't. First of all, I don't know how you find the time to collaborate. Your planning time is shot. You're full up. How does that work within the building?
With the fog machine, Miss Price came to me.
This is the secret that we could have anybody teaching anything. The point is that within buildings, within the entire school system, that kind of team approach. It's an individual job, but that kind of team approach has a level of success at the end of it that makes the whole school system and the community better.
Absolutely. Teaching can be a very lonely experience, and especially if you just walk in and close your door. What Josh does and what many teachers do in Washington County is really become that team dynamic that helps us help students. And he's really wonderful at it. He makes you feel very much at ease. Even when I go into the classroom, everybody is at ease. Nobody's nervous. And while he can bring a level of accountability and instruction, he also brings a level of confidence and competence to that too.
What do you bring that's new? What do you
fog machine? Come on, I just talked about the fog machine.
The fog machine has been a recurring theme.
No,
today.
I'm always looking. I want to know. I want to be current. Jeff Koons, his sculpture piece sold for the highest amount yesterday,
Right.
Ever. I shared that with my students today. I go, guys, this is a living artist. This is the highest amount something's ever, been auctioned off for. We should know this. I want them to know I'm passionate about art. I'm passionate about education. And if that's new, then that's what I bring to the table.
We talked about this before the show. There's an amazing history of art, of creating art, of displaying it, of the value of art. How about to current day? What's happening current day? That'll be what's happening now that'll be important in a generation, in 100 years, 200 years from now.
There's so many things that are happening. I think the big thing that's going on is right now what I see is how artists are responding to some of the issues that we're having as a global, as a planet. I have a student right now that's doing pieces on pollution, and he's very passionate about that, and he's infusing that passion that he has for the care of our earth, and he's making dresses out of things that we would normally discard. And so that's something that he's doing. That's something that's very current, and it's happening right now, and he's a part of that creation process. He's making art about that topic, which is something that I think we all care about. I think we all care about our home, where we live.
What are you doing this summer?
I spend as much time as I can with my family. I do that all the time. Family comes first. As for all the time that I do spend in the classroom, my wife and my kids, and my church and my community, those are my priorities. And I just happen to live and work in the community,
right.
Which is fantastic, a wonderful bonus. So just spend a lot of time with my kids.
Are there Teacher of the Year commitments in the summer?
Yes, he probably doesn't know about them just yet. So surprise, okay. Josh, guess what?
Glad I asked that.
Thanks.
You will be spending some of your time, and this is meeting with the state coordinators. He will be interviewed. He will get to go to Smith Island. They do a lot of studying. And it's the other thing that the Teacher of the Year program brings is a high level of commitment from all of the teachers of the year in order to be better, to do right by students, and to learn from one another. And I think what he is going to experience is just this high-level professional learning from all of the other teachers of the year. And I think he'll be a leader within that.
What's one of your weaknesses in teaching? What do you need to work on?
I have a problem with saying no. I do. I have a problem with saying no. And in the past, I have taken too much on. So I need to know what my limitations are. As a human being, there's only 24 hours in a day.
Right.
So I have to know what my limitations are and make sure that I do not overcommit myself.
Yeah. Thank the both of you very much. We're out of time. Josh.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Congratulations. Josh Edwards, our Teacher of the Year from Clear Spring High School. Joni Burkhart has joined us as Coordinator of Professional Development and Teacher Principal Evaluation. Our show today has been sponsored by Hagerstown Honda and Kia, not only sponsoring the show, but one of the primary sponsors of the Teacher of the Year program here in Washington County. Thank the both of you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Will.
Our show
thank
is
you.
on the air the third Thursday each month, a partnership between Washington County Public Schools and WJEJ.